Hi there, welcome to part 2 of the tutorial in which I'm gonna show you how you can create your very own application in order for you to generate your hardware configuration for TIA projects just by using Openness API. So on part 1 of the tutorial, we created the user interface and we created the object identifier. So it's the class where we are reading the object's file. So let's move on. And as I mentioned in the previous video, I would like to show you actually where you can find the Openness API files that you will need to import in your project. And you should have them on your PC if you already have a version of TIA installed. So when you're installing TIA, then actually it's just a checkbox, TIA openness, that you kind of have to click it. If normally this is done automatically when you're installing your TIA. So let's go and say add services. Right now I kind of have them here, but I'm just gonna do it like this. So you're gonna open your reference manager and you should go to browse and then browse again and go on your C drive and program files, Siemens, automation, portal, and you're gonna have the public API. So now it depends what version of TIA you have installed. I have version 17, but if you have version 16 or 18, you should go and take those files. So you need to take the files that actually you kind of have installed on your machine, because usually TIA is gonna install multiple versions of the Openness API files. So let's go and take these two files and let's go and import them in our project. So this was the first step that we kind of have to do, and the second step is gonna be we should go to our control panel, to our tools and our computer manager, and here on your user groups you should have these two folders, these two user groups. And here you kind of have to make sure that your username is here. And usually for TIA openness, here your username is not going to be added, so you will have to do it manually. And you can just do it simple, just advance, find now, and here you should get your username. So just select it, OK, and add it. And when you add your username, you will have to go and sign out and then sign in. OK, now that's out of the way. Let's go and concentrate on our project and seeing how we already created a class to read our object identifier CSV data. I would like to create a second class which will go and is gonna read our controls CSV. So let's go here and create a second class, and which we're gonna call it controller. that. And what actually I would like to do here, so I will do one thing. I'm just gonna go here, take all the libraries that we are using in the object identifier and copy them here. And seeing that our controller files look like this, we're gonna have the name, the identifier, and the IP. So actually this, I would like to put it in a structure. And then here, if you can see, you're gonna have the name and the identifier. And these are gonna be actually the sub-modules, are gonna be actually the cards, the I/O cards for the ET200SP. So this, I would like to create a second structure. So let's move on and let's go and create our first structure. And I'm gonna call it device. And here I'm gonna have public string, and it's gonna be name. And I'm just gonna go and do some copy paste here. So the first one is gonna be identifier, and then it's gonna be IP. So here, let's go and say a public device. We're gonna have a string value of name, then string value of identifier, and then a string value of the IP. So let's go and assign our structure. So we're gonna have the name, which is gonna be the name, this, then we are gonna have the identifier, which is gonna be the identifier, and then we're gonna have the IP. Okay. Then let's go and actually let's rebuild everything. Let's see if everything's fine. Okay. Let's go and create our second structure like we were talking. So it's gonna be public again. So it's gonna be a structure, and I'm gonna say this should be the, let's say, I/O cards. So let's go, and what we're gonna have here, we can just go and copy paste. The only difference that we're gonna have here is gonna be that here I would like to say position like this, and let's go and say public IO card again, and then let's just say string name, string position, and then string identifier. Okay, let's assign them as well. be the position, and then the identifier, which, okay. So right now we have two structures, and what I would like to do here, so I would like to create actually a list. So let's go and say it's gonna be a public static I list, and here I'm gonna say we're gonna have the tuple. So here we can we're gonna use this if we want to create a structure within a structure. So we're gonna go and call the device, and then we're gonna go and create another list inside the structure, which is gonna be of the I/O cards. So let's just go here, and it's gonna be the I/O card, and here I'm gonna call it devices, and we're gonna have the public static and it's gonna be the list box. And the message. So let's go and create our read settings function. So it's gonna be a public static void, and here we're gonna have the list box. Be like those. So actually what we can do here in this case, we can go and we can actually copy most, yeah, let's just go and copy things, and then we can just go and delete them. So just gonna go, so the identifier doesn't exist, so I'm gonna delete this. What we're gonna have here, and here we're gonna have the file is gonna be called controller CSV. Okay, then the file exists. We can leave it here. Actually, this is until where we're gonna have the same structure that we had on the object identifier. So here I will have to go and say iList. I would like to create a list for our cards, because we kind of have to have a list to add it here. And I'm gonna say IOC, and there's gonna be a new list of IO cards. Perfect. And then let's go and say variables hold device, and I'm gonna have a new device. And if you remember, I said that the first three values are gonna be devices. So let's go and say values 0, and then we're gonna have value 1 and value 2. So let's go and say here it's gonna be 1, and then we're gonna have value 2. Okay, so right now we created our first structure. Let's go here and create a for loop. So that's going to say integer I is going to be equal to 1, and here I would like to say I is smaller than values, and let's just go and say here length, and then let's increment the I by 1. Okay, and here let's go and create another variable. So let's say hold IO, and let's go and create a new IO card. And here we're gonna have 2 values. Let's do it like this. So actually we will have to go and say I multiply by 2 plus 1, because if you remember, we already have the first 3 values, so we will have to start with 3, and 1 multiplied by 2 is going to be 2 plus 3, it's actually going to be 3, and like that we're gonna increment it. And one more thing here, I would like to divide this by 2. Very important, because we have 2 values, and we will have to divide the length by 2. So the array is just gonna be half of the length. Okay, let's go and say the second value, which here I'm gonna have it as I multiplied by 2 plus 2, and then on the third one I'm gonna have the position, and the position I'm just gonna put the I, and I'm gonna modify it to string. So here I'm gonna go and take the IOC and add the hold IO. Okay, so right now if we're going here, we are gonna have the hold, and we're gonna have the IO, so all the input cards that we have on that line, and then we will have to input it here in devices, and we're gonna have a new tuplet, and here we just need to go and describe what we have. So it's going to be devices, and then it's going to be another list of the IO cards that we have here. So we're going to have the IO cards here, and then here we will have to input the structure. So the first one is going to be hold D, and then the second one is going to be IOC. Okay. Yeah, so let's go and say it's going to be IOC, like that. Okay. So right now we called the function, and we should actually go here and call it controller read settings, and I'm gonna have LB message that we're gonna send to the list box. Okay, so right now we can just run our application and see how this is looking. So yes, here I kind of did small I kind of forgot something, because yeah, I created this, but I need to create an instance. So it's gonna be devices, and I'm gonna need a new iList. And actually I'm not gonna need the devices, only the new iList. And perfect. So like this, I actually should have the new IO. So actually it's not gonna be iList, it's gonna be a list, because yeah, it's not gonna let us do a new iList. We're just gonna do a list. Okay, perfect. So let's go and rebuild the solution. And let's start our application. And yes, one of the disadvantages of copy-paste, you always will forget something, like the text here. So let's test it again. And of course, this looks much better. Okay, so what I would like to have here, seeing that when we are starting the application, I'm getting some blank text boxes. So I would actually want to go and populate them with the default information. So I'm just gonna go and say PLC name text. I'm just gonna introduce something here. So I'm just gonna say PLC underscore like this. Then PLC is gonna be the author, and here you can put whatever you want to. Then yeah, what is very important should be, you should put the text here. So let's go and say the IP address. Next, and the IP address is gonna be well, here I'm just gonna say 192.168.10.20. Let's go with this one. So and then at the end I'm gonna have the identifier, which is very important when we're gonna generate the hardware configuration. So I'm gonna say PLC CPU. So I'm taking this information from the objects, and it's gonna be this information that I'm gonna use here. Okay, then we have our PLC. Let's go and say our HMI, and let's just HMI, modify this very fast. Okay, so on the HMI, if I'm gonna go to the list here, I'm gonna take this identifier and I'm gonna put it here. What I'm gonna modify the IP, and then I'm gonna modify the name. It's just gonna be HMI. So I would like to go and put the comment as well to be and standard comment. Yeah, so here you can put whatever you would need. So let's go and say on the path. So for me, actually, I'm gonna have this is gonna be my path. So here I'm gonna actually create the PLCs. So I'm just gonna go and copy this path and just paste it here. And what we will have to do, instead of one slash, we'll have to do two of them. And actually I'm gonna do it at the end as well. And one more thing is gonna be the delete is checked. This I'm gonna want to have it true. Okay, so we actually finished with the initialization. So let's go and actually create let's go and create our first function. So actually I would like to create here some a field with variables, and I'm just gonna call it region, and that's gonna be called the field, and let's go and say and region. Okay, so I'm gonna have a private TIA portal, and actually here I will have to go and call a few libraries from the libraries that we imported earlier. So let's go and say scenes, and it's going to be engineering. Then I'm going to have using Siemens engineering. Let's go and say hardware. And let's go and say Siemens engineering hardware features. Okay. Here I would like to just go and make a little bit of room here. Okay, so we're gonna have the TI portal, and I'm gonna call it portal, and let's go and say it's gonna be null. So we're gonna initialize everything when we're starting the project. So private project, as well. Then private device. Then and of course we will have to have here using systems IO, and then using systems so let's just go and say control point, so directory directory info. Here in C#, it kind of likes to have everything neat, so it's not as easy as Visual Basic. So let's go and say no, and then let's just say IO system, and let's just say system, which is going to be null as well. Okay, so here I would like to create the list, and it's going to be device. So first is going to be sub device, then I'm gonna have the list of devices, device, devices, and list. Actually, this is going to be a little bit later. So what I would like to do here is actually create a structure, because seeing that I have a PLC and I have an HMI, I would like to create an array of this information, and I'm gonna encapsulate this in a structure, and I'm gonna call it add device, and it's just gonna be public string name, and actually it's gonna be all the information that we have here. So we're gonna have the name, then we're gonna have the author, and then we're gonna have the IP, like that. Then we're gonna have the identifier, and then we're gonna have the comment. So let's go and create our create device function. So seeing that we created the structure, let's go, and I'm gonna go and say create devices. that, and I'm gonna have project. So okay, so let's go and say, let's create an instance for the devices, and it's gonna be a new list. Device, and then let's go and say network interface. It's gonna be null. So what I would actually like to do here is create the iList. So it is actually gonna be let's go and say private iList, and that's gonna be the add device. And I'm gonna call it add dev and new list, add devices, and then I'm gonna say public add device add. So let's go and put all the information here. So I'm gonna have the add, and it's gonna be a new add device. Then we can go and say our name is gonna be TB HMI name text. Then we're gonna have the author, and actually it's gonna be just a HMI author, then the IP address, HMI IP address, and the identifier, of course, force of a habit identifier, and it's gonna be identifier, and then we're gonna have the comment like this, and add dev add add. So let's go and say add. Okay, so right now we created the HMI. Let's go and say for the PLC, and this is going to be the PLC information. Okay, so here what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do a for loop, and I'm gonna go and create the devices. So I'm gonna create the PLC and the HMI. But this I'm gonna do in the next tutorial. So thanks for watching, and see you on the next tutorial.